The red-haired female monk jumped through the window into the room. "Look at that elegant and spacious big bed. That bastard today. It was on this bed that I had tumultuous encounters with the courtesan." The red-haired woman had eyes that were extremely cold. Slowly walked towards the big bed. The atmosphere around became eerie. For a moment it was scorching. Suddenly it became cold. "What?" The courtesan on the bed suddenly woke up with a swing of the wrench. A ray of pink light shot towards the red-haired nun. Dreams of illusion end. The red-haired nun is practicing. Called softly, "Liu Su." Oh, that pink glow suddenly vanished. A woman dressed in a thin robe jumped down from the bed. Watching the red-haired priestess, her voice trembled. Saint, is it really you?" Liu Su shed tears. Actually, there's no need to ask her to be certain. This breath, this figure, isn't she just the Saintess who grew up with her? "Liu Su." Xia Kinglian's cold demeanor also softened. Liu Su cried out, suddenly embraced Xia Kinglian. "Saint woman, I thought you were dead. I've been looking for you for a long time. Oh, I finally found you. Just raise your hands." All so tightly embraced Liu Su, the body trembled slightly. In the end, only the two of them remained. "It's okay. And there's the two of them." The two women embraced for a moment. Liu Su's emotions calmed down a bit. A smile appeared on the face that was like pear blossoms in the rain. "Saint Maiden, I will follow you." Xia Kinglian remained still, suddenly asked, "The three major sects sent people to Tianlu Mountain to search for the hidden treasures of the Kinglian. Have you ever heard of a red mansion?" Liu Su said, "Have you heard? A monk often visited the red building under the sun. Recently, I've often heard people mention this matter." Xia Kinglian's voice turned cold. "I want to know, which of the three major sects will go to their deaths?" Liu Su Yizhen suddenly realized, immediately said, "Saint Maiden, I stayed at the Red Mansion to gather information, but where should I go to find you?" Xia Kinglian thought for a moment and said, "You have received news," unintentionally revealed to a turtle named Ming Yu. "Okay." Liu Su nodded, joyfully said, "The Saintess has quickly established her network in Yunlin town. No wonder the sect leader always praises you as the greatest genius of the past 1,000 years among the Kinglian." Speaking of the gate master, Xia Kinglian's eyes grew dim. Liu Su bit her lip. "I'm sorry, Saint woman. By the way," she changed the subject, asking the way, "Saint Maiden, where do you live? I came to find you after gathering information at the Red Chamber. We can be together again." Xia Kinglian fell silent for a moment. In a low voice, "Let's talk about it later. You must remember to act with caution. I'm leaving. Farewell, holy maiden." Liu Su respectfully bowed. Xia Kinglian's voice was lonely. "There's no need to bow like this anymore. The blue lotuses are gone. There are no more saints." "Yes." Liu Su lowered his head. Eyes reddened. Xia Kinglian took 2 steps out. Suddenly stopped. Looking back, he asked, "I heard that someone bought your first night yesterday. You and that person?" "That person and I didn't do anything. He sat in my room for an hour. Just left. Rest assured, Saint, I will take good care of myself." Liu Su's face showed delight. "The saintly girl really does care about me." Xia Kinglian breathed a sigh of relief. "It's fine. If that person comes to find you again, HMPH. If he dares to come again, I'll drown him." Liu Su recalled the humiliation of being ignored by that guy yesterday. A fire ignited in my heart. "No way," Xia Kinglian said It's extremely cold here. Liu Su was surprised. Zaya Kinglian paused. The voice calms down. Before I restore my cultivation, do not attract attention. If that person comes again, just drive him away. Do not harm others. Oh, Liu Su agreed. I'm leaving. In the next moment, Zaya Kinglian's figure flashed. Has already disappeared. Liu Su ran to the window. All I could see was a tall red silhouette flashed beside the full moon. He tilted his head. Some confusion. How does it feel? Is the Saintess different from before? Oh, right, the beautiful courtesan. On the halfway mark, with a clap of the hands, the small hill shook slightly. The bear and the butt got bigger. In recent days, the Saintess. What did you do? The next day, in the early morning, Qin Zhengyun opened his eyes, feeling exhausted inside. Last night, he used 3 time periods. Cultivate 4 Huxing pills. This is his first time refining the Huxing Dan. Such efficiency. It is already astonishing. However, Qiuzhi still seemed somewhat dissatisfied. Seeing that he was truly exhausted, only then did he agree to take a rest. This sleep was incredibly sweet. Qin Zhengyun felt that he would definitely reach 3 hours tonight. The goal of the 5 elixirs. I told Qiuzhi last night. Ask him to help himself first, cultivating the spiritual herbs needed to refine the Jade Clear elixir. He urgently needs to try the high-quality Yuking Dan, suppressing the internal poison. Let's see if we can restore the dual practice and self-cultivation to progress together. Qiuzhi's mood quickly reached the 4th level of refining. Qin Zhengyun turned sideways. Suddenly, Qiuzhi was standing right in front of me. It seems like they are still fast asleep. He was slightly taken aback. If he used to refine alchemy at night, Qiuzhi always gets up early, go out and buy breakfast, then come back. But today I'm still asleep. Qin Zhengyun smiled. It should be these 2 days to cultivate the spirit herbs. Feeling a bit tired, he got up and put on his clothes. Go to the kitchen for a quick wash. I went out and bought 2 servings of breakfast. I finished a portion by myself, left a copy for Qiuzhi, gently walked to the bedside. Peeking out, Qiuzhi faced the wall, curvaceous and exquisite. The side profile is round and soft. Eyelashes grow long. Pouting slightly, she looks delicate yet charming. Unlike her usual cold demeanor, it feels like 2 people. This wife of mine, Ming, is charming and lovely, deliberately putting on a cold demeanor. It's quite cute. Qin Zhengyun chuckled lightly. After watching for a moment, finally turned and walked out the door. Take him out. The door closes. Qiuzhi on the bed. Shu Dai opened her eyes. That charming and adorable round face. Suddenly a chilling frost covered everything. His gaze was cold as ice. HMPH man. Qin Zhengyun walked out of the alley, encountering Chen Fang and Zhang Cheng holding hands. He smiled and clasped his hands. Zhang Deyu, Chen Deyu, you 2 are really affectionate. Zhang Chendown nodded apologetically. Chen Fang smiled in reply. Qin Deyu, aren't you and your wife the same? Yesterday, Qiu Dao you came. Help me learn to make more dishes. You said you were tired of porridge and stewed meat. Qin Zhengyun felt a warmth in his heart. He laughed and said, It is indeed my blessing. Farewell to the neighboring journey. Qin Zhengyun walked along. Yet a sense of guilt surged within. Yesterday he pulled back from the edge. But after all, it was sneaking away to a red mansion with my wife. I am truly sorry for him. You must properly compensate my wife. Arriving at Lingdon Square. At dawn, The village is very lively. It turns out Yang Fengshen is sending out wedding invitations to everyone. Half a month later, at Moonshadow Pavilion, you must come. Su Lai must not be absent either. Ah, this guy is sending out wedding invitations, while reminding each other to be reasonable. It's King Zhengyan's turn. Yang Fengshen stuffed the wedding invitation into his hand. A key reminder was given. Don't be stingy. Sui Lai needs at least 2 snacks. After speaking, he didn't wait for Qin Zhengyan to respond. Left the house with a beaming smile. Clearly, we need to go elsewhere to deliver the wedding invitations. Wan Ping walked over, angrily said, "This is not inviting someone to a wedding banquet. It's just a blatant demand for benefits." Zhu Lai also said with frustration, "His wife, they borrowed money from all of us. Finally gathered the betrothal gifts to marry her. Now we actually have to give it to her. Sui Lai, that's too much." King Zhenyan was puzzled. What kind of female cultivator would be interested in Yang Guanxi? Speaking of this, Wang Ping felt even more frustrated. "Kindayu, you don't know. Yang Fengshen's wife. It is said that they met at the marriage pavilion during a matchmaking event. She looks very beautiful. The bride price cannot be low. It's probably because she can bring out so much betrothal gifts. I just agreed to marry him. Tsai, in today's world, I am a wandering cultivator. Don't even mention seeking immortality. Even if I wanted to get married, there's no chance. Don't say anything. Let's go to the Red Chamber Pavilion tonight." Qin Zhengyan looked around. He asked the 2 of them, "Has the homeowner not come today?" Wang Ping shook his head. "It is said that the homeowner has gone out. The Northern Wilderness trial of love is just 5 days away. The homeowner likely wants to seize the last opportunity. Even if I offer dozens of grade 1 elixirs to the Danang sect, it's already over 110. Qin Zhengyan did not speak again. He knows that Nanzong heavily uses first-grade elixirs instead of second-grade spiritual pills. However, the quality requirements for top-grade elixirs are extremely high. I can't catch the last bus. Sometimes Qin Zhengyan left Lingdan workshop, did not go straight home. Instead, they returned to the Rouge Pavilion. He has already thought it through. To make up for what I did wrong to Kyuji yesterday, I want to buy that 2010th magic robe and give it to him. Entering the Rouge Pavilion, a lady is approaching. However, Chen Jaya beside him smiled sweetly and spoke to him first. "Qin Daoliu, you're here again. What do you want to buy today?" Qin Zhenyan said, "Shane Daoliu, my wife's birthday is coming soon. I want to buy her a gift." On the way here, Qin Zhenyan had already thought it through. A couple of days ago, he just bought a new outfit. Today I bought a 20-0-10 magic robe. It's a bit too conspicuous. So let's find a reason to celebrate my wife's birthday. My wife and I are affectionate with each other. Spending all his savings to celebrate her birthday. Is this too much? Qin Daoliu, how about checking out our latest blush? Various medicinal herbs and elixirs were added. Its effectiveness is comparable to the longevity elixir. It will surely keep your wife's beauty everlasting. The Chen family warmly recommends. Qin Zhengyan glanced around. He whispered, "Shane Daoyu, actually, I've already thought it through. What to buy?" "Oh." Chen family saw Qin Zhengyan acting mysteriously. "Lower your voice as well. I wonder what Qin Dao plans to buy for your wife." Qin Zhengyan looked at the rack hanging with clothes. Her gaze fell upon the white pleated cloud-patterned skirt hanging in the array. The Chen family was shaken. The pupils trembled directly. The voice trembled. "Qin Dayu, are you saying that Which item do you want to buy? Oh, he bought a new outfit just the day before yesterday. Today we are going to buy 2010. Is this man really that capable? Qin Zhengyan nodded slightly. Speak the words I've long prepared. My wife and I are deeply in love. He works hard for me all day long. I feel uneasy in my heart. Soon it will be his birthday. Even if it means emptying my savings, I want to give him a surprise too. The emphasis of this sentence is on the deep affection between my wife and me. It's more about buying this piece of clothing. I have already emptied my savings. From now on, if a thoughtful person asks, they would only see him as a foolish man hopelessly infatuated with his wife. Qin Zhengyan's perfect words expressed. The Chen family's gaze grew even more fervent. His smile is like a blooming flower. Qin Daoliu, aren't you too good to your wife? Qin Zhengyan looked around. Urged, please, deist Chen, please wrap up my clothes as soon as possible. I immediately pay for the snacks. Oh, okay. Good. The Chen family came back to their senses. The gaze moved away from Qin Zhengyan's face. Take him to the shopkeeper to pay for the snacks. Carefully wrap this bright red pleated cloud-patterned skirt. Qin Zhengyan held the strap of the neatly arranged dress. Chen family warmly escorted him to the door. Qin Zhengyan suddenly turned around and said, Chen Deu, I have a favor to ask you. Chen smiled and said, Friend Qin, no need to be polite. Feel free to speak your mind. Qin Zhengyan whispered, I came to the Rouge Pavilion to buy a spirit robe. Please don't tell anyone. My wife is beautiful. Many suitors. I don't want her to attract attention anymore. With this statement, the silhouette of Qin Zhengyan, Chen Jiamei's eyes were like silk, muttering to oneself, that Yang Fengshen, gather a betrothal gift of 150 spirit stones. It's all so difficult. Qin Dayu casually bought 2 pieces of clothing for his wife. It is 30 spirit stones. I misjudged. If I had known, I shouldn't have agreed so quickly to that Yang Pangzi. There are plenty of good men. No way. I want to cancel the engagement. Qin Zhengyan returned to Jeyu Alley. Pushing the door open to return home, I cautiously peeked inside, feeling a bit inexplicably empty. In a past life, his friend who went to the nightclub. The next day, when I faced my wife at home, filled with anxiety and guilt. At that time, Qin Zhengyan was not married. I cannot understand the feelings he described. But now he finally understands. Qin Zhengyan quietly called out into the room. No response. He walked into the kitchen holding his belt. There's no one inside. The stove is also very tidy. He used to come home at this time. The river of autumn has already served steaming meat porridge. The meat soup has been served on the table. But today there were no signs of a fire being lit in the kitchen. Even the river Kiu has vanished. Qin Zhengyan suddenly felt a bit anxious. If you let him be for a moment, returning to that solitary life from the past, he is afraid he will find it difficult to adapt again. Hurriedly walked out of the kitchen, the few pieces of clothing that Jiankyu often wears, neatly folded and placed on the bedside. Qin Zhengyan let out a small sigh of relief. Just about to head out to find someone, the door suddenly opened. A petite and delicate figure walked in, dressed in a black robe. Ask of Frost. Seeing him, the gaze became even colder. Autumn path friend, where have you been? Qin Zhengyan quickly asked. The river of autumn remained silent. Zhengzhe walked over and sat down on the bed. He casually set down a bundle of herbs. Qin Zhengyan took a look. All about refining the Yuking Dan, common herbs needed for Mengzu Dan and Huzin Dan. Lin Cao's River of Autumn can be cultivated by oneself. These ordinary medicinal herbs do not require the expenditure of spiritual energy. A snack can buy a lot. It turns out Kyujai he went out to help him gather medicinal herbs. Kyudalyu, thank you. Qin Zhenyan felt even more guilty in his heart. The River of Autumn still ignored him. Sitting cross-legged on the bed, simply closed my eyes to cultivate. An autumn path friend, haven't you eaten yet? I'm going to cook. Qin Zhenyan spoke. Walk into the kitchen and start cooking. Soon the table was filled with a lavish spread of dishes. Leek omelette, tomato scrambled eggs, and egg fried rice. Qin Zhenyan fought hard for survival in the past. There's not much time to research how to cook. The dishes I can make are truly limited. It's all just a matter of someone making scrambled eggs, Kyudayu. It's time to eat. Qin Zhenyan smiled at Kyujai and said. Kyujai, he glanced at him, finally got up and sat down at the table. Look at the whole egg dish placed on the table. She snorted in disdain. But in the end, I still picked up the chopsticks and started eating. Qin Zhenyan did not dare to say much. The two silently finished their meal. Qin Zhenyan washed the dishes again. Step out of the kitchen. He handed a bag to Kyujai. Autumn Dao friend. I passed by the Rouge Pavilion when I returned. I bought it for you. Kyujai glanced up at him. Finally received it. I opened it and took a look. The eyes flickered, but on the lips they say, I don't like red clothes. Qin Zhenyan scratched his cheek. It's okay. If you don't like to wear it out, when the mood improves, it's fine to wear it at home too. Autumn Taoist friend, you look really good in red. The River of Autumn snorted. He said coldly, why should I dress for you? Qin Zhenyan sat beside Kyujai. He said in a deep voice, Kyudo-yu, I have something to tell you. I want to confess to you. Kyujai, he looked up at him. Qin Zhenyan took a deep breath. Finally, it said, Yesterday I went to a red mansion. That's how it is. I did it for an hour. Left without doing anything. Autumn friend, do you believe me? I just want to go out and face my air demons. I will never go there again. Qin Zhenyan recounted what happened yesterday at the Red Building, then solemnly swore to guarantee, after he finished speaking, the coldness on the face of the River of Autumn. It almost became a disaster. You actually did this for such a reason. Go to the Red Chamber. Qin Zhenyan kept apologizing. I'm sorry. I will never dare to do it again. Kyujai, he coldly looked at him. After a moment, Pachai, that round little face could no longer hold back. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Qin Zhenyan was stunned. This smile melts away like an iceberg. The spring breeze thaws. Brilliant as the moonlight, brilliant as the blazing sun, nothing in the world compares to those moments. Autumn path friend, so you can smile. The smile on Kyujai's face abruptly stopped. Raising a hand to cover the face, after a moment let it go. The small round face had returned to its icy demeanor, but I still found it funny in my heart, because of studying at the Xueming Palace, making his physique extremely special. Qin Zhenyan couldn't hold on for long. It's perfectly normal. I didn't expect that he actually developed a dark obsession because of it. It's really laughable. At the same time, Kyujai felt an inexplicable sense of relief. He went to Yihan Tower to rid himself of his inner demons. It's not about seeking flowers and inquiring about willows. It's not an unforgivable sin. And he feels so guilty. He also bought me clothes. Also took the initiative to confess, let's just forget it. As I pondered, the face of Kyujai he gradually softened. Beside him, Qin Zhengyan felt a bit anxious. But just now I saw him smile so adorably. At this moment her expression was so charming. With great courage, suddenly it stretched out its claws and grabbed his delicate little hand. Keu Dao, aren't you angry any more? Oh no, immediately covering his feet with both hands. The river of autumn retracted its own feet, slightly speaking, 3 shichen. 5 jade items on the list. If you can't do it, no going to bed tonight. Qin Zhengyan immediately stood up. I shall follow the law. After finishing, he walked cleanly into the kitchen. Qin Deu. The river of autumn called out to him. Qin Zhengyan turned around. The river of autumn fell silent for a moment. I will not change my mind seriously. Cultivation is inherently against the natural order. If one is always overly cautious, and lost the dominance to change fate and reverse misfortune, it goes against the original intention of cultivation. This is a discussion between the two about their approach to cultivation and handling matters from the night before last. It turns out that for the past 2 days Qiuzhai he has been pondering. Qin Zhengyan responded earnestly. Autumn path friend, I also insist on my opinion. I practice not to compete with others, just to live better. If one could seek immortality, that would certainly be the best. If eternal life cannot be attained, live a life without regrets. The river of autumn inquires, what counts as having no regrets? Qin Zhengyan replied, may you live a long and prosperous life. Life is worry-free, the couple lives in harmony. And Sun Mantang felt as if he had no regrets. In his past life, he was unable to achieve any of this. If this life can be redeemed, it can be considered that the trip wasn't in vain. Sun Mantang. Qiuzhik looked at him with a strange expression, coldly said, what do you mean? Qin Zhengyan quickly said, Autumn deist, please don't misunderstand. There's no need to rush with this matter. Just let it be. Qiuzhik's gaze was icy. Autumn deist friend, I'm going to refine some elixirs. Qin Zhengyan sensed that the situation was not good, quickly slipped into the kitchen. After laying everything bare and discussing it with Qiuzhik, Qin Zhengyan felt a sense of openness in his heart. Both the spiritual consciousness and spiritual power have reached their peak. The alchemy process went very smoothly. 3 hours later, successfully refined 3 high-quality Yuking Dan. Qin Zhengyan excitedly walked out of the kitchen. Qiu Dao Yu. I did it. It was now the hour of the rat. The river of autumn is still awake. Sitting by the bed, she softly murmured, rest now. Okay. Qin Zhengyan was delighted with his skills. He jumped onto the bed. What are you doing? He kicked the quilt off Qiuzhik. She shot him a dissatisfied glare. Reaching out to extinguish the candle, Qin Zhengyan stopped him. Autumn deist friend. Wait a moment. Ah. Qin Zhengyan gazed at his face. Sincerely speaking, you look really beautiful tonight. I want to watch a little longer. Yeah. The river of autumn. Under the glow of candlelight, his cheeks seemed to flush with a hint of red. But he quickly turned over. Qin Zhengyan also couldn't see clearly. Autumn path friend. Actually, I'm feeling refreshed tonight. The alchemy efficiency is very high. Did not exhaust much energy. So, Qin Zhengyan's words were not yet finished. The candle suddenly extinguished without wind. He only felt the speck of dust on him. Autumn, my friend. After 50 breaths, the couple's relationship has improved significantly. The relationship between husband and wife, 20,100. Stages of marital relationships. Strangers in a foreign land. Still needs adjustment. Jia Cheng. 1. Gained cultivation points. Freed, looking at the illusory words before me, Qin Zhengyan felt a surge of joy in his heart. The couple's relationship has improved by another 5 points. It seems that this time I will admit my mistakes. Make yourself score more points in the heart of the autumn river. Two people discussing their philosophies on cultivation. It was the first time the couple had a deep heart-to-heart talk. It also helps improve the relationship between couples. Of course, the most important thing is my time has increased to 50 breaths. Converted to the time of the previous life, that's 2.5 minutes. This duration, of course, there is still a long way to go to reach satisfaction, but it is already much stronger than 35 breaths. It seems I am slowly adapting to the nature of Kiaji River. It seems that this time he must be quite satisfied now. Qin Zhengyan turned his head to look. Already turned over. Back to one's autumn river. The delicate curves gently undulate. Qin Zhengyan seemed to hear a faint sound of breathing. Keu Dao Liu. After a moment of silence, a cold voice echoed. You say that cultivation is not for fighting with others. But if someone wants to kill you, how should you do? Qin Zhengyan stood upright. I don't understand why Kiaji River is asking such questions at this time. He still answered, if someone really wants to kill me, I will naturally fight to the death. We can't just sit back and wait for our doom. The river of autumn turned over. The pair of dual-colored eyes in the darkness shone brightly yet coldly. You can't even battle properly. How to struggle against others? Is it better to die in more pain? Qin Zhengyan was stunned. The longevity technique he practiced was the most ordinary form of cultivation. There is no teaching on how to fight against others. And he himself had never fought magic with anyone. If you really encounter a fierce person, even if it is someone with the same level of cultivation, I'm afraid he will also find it difficult to cope. He couldn't help but ask, has Kyudao ever encountered such dangers? He shook his head again. Kyujai he was once captured by the Demon Gate. Nature has undergone battles. Autumn River Path. If one day he really fights against someone, do not be soft-hearted or timid. The early bird catches the worm. Strike at Baigong's vital point. Every day only life is taken. No dignity. There is no righteousness. Deadly. You live. That is the only truth. His voice was chilling to the bone, drilled into Qin Zhengyan's ear. He couldn't help but shiver. At this moment, I bow seriously. I remember. Ch. Kyuji gave a sigh. Suddenly, are you ready? Qin Zhengyan said seriously. Suddenly understood. Hurriedly said, all right. It would have been better long ago. Half an hour has passed. After another 450 breaths, Kyujai he skillfully turned over, with his back to Qin Zhengyan. That cold voice. It seems to have become a bit softer. Sleep now. You. No need to have inner demons anymore. And after speaking, there was no more words. Qin Zhengyan smiled gently. Illusory words appeared before me again. And Qin Zhengyan. Lifespan 35, 40. Cultivation. Refining tools at the third level 17,500. Skill. First rank alchemist 113,200. Spiritual roots. Fire type intermediate spiritual root 1,000. Ice type medium grade spiritual root Bait 1,000. Beng Huo Xuan Ling Gen. Finally reached the middle grade. There are 4 types of spiritual root aptitude. The most common are the upper, middle, and lower grades. There is another extremely special type, above the finest, called a supreme spiritual root. It is a true rarity among millions. Exceptional talent. Exceptional spiritual roots are rarely born. Often, large sects accumulate countless resources. To the most talented disciple with a top-grade spiritual root in my sect, invested a lot of effort in nurturing. Only then is it possible to cultivate. The renowned innate supreme spiritual root in the cultivation world. There are only 3 people. The eldest senior sister of the Yang sect. The second is the junior sister from the Thunder Sword sect. The third is the Saintess of the Kinglian sect, Zaya Kinglian. But Zaya Kinglian is already dead. Only 2 people were left with the innate supreme spiritual roots. Of course, this is just the younger generation. There may also be hidden extraordinary ancestral figures with exceptional spiritual roots in those major sects. But all of this seemed too distant for Qin Zhenyan. He does not seek any exceptional spiritual roots. As long as I can steadily improve, that's enough. Qin Zhenyan silently recited. Zhenyan, add some. All 10 points were added to my cultivation. Attribute panel changes. Cultivation, 3rd layer of Kai training, 27,500. Skills, 1st rank alchemist, 113,200. He is now facing the danger of being pursued by the homeowner. Improving strength is the most important. So we must prioritize improving our cultivation. As long as you work hard, I believe I will soon reach the 4th level of Kai training. Of course, what Qin Zhenyan is most concerned about now is what benefits the medium-grade spiritual root will bring him. He turned slightly. I turned my head to look at the river of autumn. His breathing is steady. Breathing became calm. She must have fallen asleep. Qin Zhenyan quietly got out of bed, walked to the kitchen. Sit down with your legs stretched out. Try to sense the surrounding aura. Since being alone, after being unable to improve one's cultivation through personal training, Qin Zhenyan never meditated or practiced again. At this moment, he focused his mind. Activate the eternal life technique. Suddenly, he felt the surrounding spiritual energy rapidly entering his body. Qin Zhenyan felt a surge of joy in his heart. The speed of absorbing spiritual energy is at least twice as fast as before. This is the enhancement brought by the medium-grade spiritual root. This is still a place where the energy is thin in the rental apartment. If it were in the spirit-rich, spirit-vein immortal axe, the alluring energy will attract even more. Just when these spiritual energies enter the body's meridians and begin to circulate. Upon arriving at Lingtian, we encountered a blockage. This is solely based on the unique qualities of the Qin Zhenyan body and spiritual field. During the cultivation period, inhale the spiritual energy. The technique allows spiritual energy to circulate through the meridians and spiritual fields. Slowly nourish oneself. Enhance one's cultivation. And alone, apart from corroding the meridians, it will also block the spirit field, preventing the flow of spiritual energy. This is the reason why deeply lonely individuals cannot cultivate. Even though Qin Zhenyan raised the spiritual root to the middle level, but the problem of Lingtian being blocked alone still cannot be solved. Ultimately, we still need to find a way to suppress loneliness, even if it just leaves a small crack at the entrance of Lingshan. You can also cultivate on your own now. When the time comes, dual cultivation and self-cultivation go hand in hand. The speed of cultivation improvement can also increase significantly. Next, he needs to focus on refining the Jade Clear elixir. Except for selling 20 pieces, the rest were consumed by himself. Let's see if we can temporarily suppress the individual within Lingtian. Qiushu River. Qin Zhenyan made up his mind. I got up and returned to the outer room, got into bed. I looked again at the river of autumn. Seems to be sleeping soundly. He smiled. No matter what. It's getting better and better. Once reaching the fourth level of artifact refining, the second tier Den Master rented a bigger house, beginning to refine the second grade spirit pill. At that time, it was necessary to consider finding a skilled herbalist. After a long time, wait, Qin Zhengyan's breath became elongated. The river of autumn opened its eyes. A pair of clear apricot-colored eyes brought forth intelligence. He is unraveling in his mind. Just now, he was accommodating Qin Zhengyan, intentionally suppressed his Xuanbing Lai Huo technique, just forcefully suppressing the cultivation method. But it caused his meridians and spiritual fields great pain. Every time I need to pause and catch my breath. Only then can it be restored. Qiu Zhai he did not understand. Why do I have to do this? He is just a tool for me to regain my abilities. Learning to cook, doing Shu, pretending to be a loving couple with him. It's all to hide and lie dormant. Not sincere. Saya Kinglian, you carry the blood feud of your master. In this boring world, exhausting. Next time I won't accommodate him any more. Yihan Building. At this moment, for ordinary practitioners, at this moment they had already taken a break. But for Yihan Lu, this is the best time for business. At this moment Jiang Beimu, yet their face was filled with sorrow. Yesterday the courtesan Ru Yi bought for the first time with 50 spirit stones. The lecherous ones learned of it. Every one was excited. Tonight people are flocking to the Yihang Lu, a righteous official who sells intentions but not himself. Once you've lost your purity, it's time to start serving the guests for the night. And the ruined courtesan. The prices aren't that high anymore, although the price is still very high. But it's no longer unacceptable. So, tonight, many people have come to Yehong Lu. I want the recipe for the clear and wishful fairy. King Beimu agreed to Rui yesterday, specifically serving that first night guest. But today, seeing so many people come to choose their ideal house, the white glowing spirit stone is simply too enticing. He immediately changed his mind. I want Rui to come out and receive guests. Rui, however, declined. The reason is very absurd. Yesterday, that benefactor was quite powerful. Let him taste the wonderful flavor. He has secretly given his heart to that person. I wish to wait at the Yehan Pavilion for the person to return. My great aunt, you are a captivating woman. Why are you pretending to be a virtuous woman? Jiang Beimu was grumbling at Rui. Liu Su's agreement is on the bedside. With disheveled hair. Disheveled. Yawned. I've already said it. The master is strong and formidable. Let me think about the joy of being a woman. I have already sworn. This body only wishes to serve the master. I will never let another man touch me again. Liu Su finished speaking. I think this talk is too vulgar. But there's no way. In order to avoid taking clients, can stay at Yihan Lu, gather information for the Saintess. Only able to perform the melodramatic act of a woman falling in love with her benefactor. Jiang Beimu earnestly advised. Rui, with so many male cultivators in the world, some people can bring you more joy. Why hang oneself from a tree? Liu Su let out a sigh. Then let me ask you, those perverts downstairs, who can persist for a whole hour? Who can remain indifferent to my beauty like he does? Finish and leave, without any lingering attachments. This is what a real man is. I really want to throw up from my own disgust. Liu Su suppressed the urge to vomit. The words are getting more and more outrageous. 1 hour, Jiang the nanny opened her mouth. He has been at Yihonglu for so many years. I've really never seen one for an entire hour. Thinking about that scene makes my legs weak. But that's not a reason for you not to let me earn snacks. Jiang Beimu stood with her hands on her hips. He said harshly, "Today, you have to accept it even if you don't want to. Come here. Prepare Rui's makeup and attire." Several strong female cultivators barged in, marching aggressively towards Liu Su. "Are you pushing me?" "Come on. It was given to me by my master. He said I am already his. If someone tarnishes my purity, then use this imperial grave talisman to perish together with him." She is Saya Kinglian's maid. Before being injured, their skills were quite impressive. The status in the Demon Gate is quite transcendent, hiding quite a few things on me. This burial talisman is just one of them. However, she is just a low-level enchantress now. Take out a piece of third-grade talisman paper. It's indeed a bit strange. So this pot of paper can be carried by that blind Bai. Anyway, her reputation spread in just 1 hour. Having a Zhangsan grade talisman paper isn't too much, right? Jiang Beimu naturally recognized this genuine imperial grave talisman and dared not use it on the wall again. A smile stretched across his face. "Rui, let's recruit the women. How can one show genuine feelings to a guest? Again, what if your master is already married?" Liu Su immediately said, "Then I will become her concubine." Jiang Beimu said again, "What if the person doesn't want to take you as a concubine?" Liu Su said affectionately, "Then I shall be a servant, even if it means being a chambermaid for the master. Cook maid. I am also willing. Oh, this time." She really made herself sick and threw up. Jiang Beimu thought that she is too excited for her master. I almost suffocated. I took a deep breath and said, "What if someone is unwilling to accept you at all?" Liu Su controlled the muscles on her face. Her expression turned sorrowful. "Then I will wait for her to come find me. Hear her say it herself." Jiang Beimu felt helpless. They could only lead the person out of the courtesan's room, whispering instructions. "You all go find the guest from yesterday immediately." A person asked, "What should we do now that we've found it?" Jiang Beimu squinted and said, "If she is willing to frequently visit Rui, then everyone will be happy." Yes, a few people left. Jiang Beimu sighed. The gaze suddenly became distant. 1 hour. What does it really taste like? Muttering to oneself for a moment. Then I went downstairs to greet the guests. At the corner outside Rui's house, the dream fish in a turtle green shirt stepped out with a look of astonishment. Qin Zhengyan is surprisingly fierce. Let the courtesan be so infatuated with her. Jai Ziu is unwilling to accept clients. Does this count as suspicious? One day, Qin Zhengyan slowly opened his eyes. "What smells so good?" She got out of bed just in time to see Qiuzhi coming out with a bowl of beef noodles. "Autumn Dao friend, what is this?" Qin Zhengyan looked at the bowl of noodles sprinkled with green scallions. "Fragrant beef noodles." Surprised, I looked at Kiari River. Qiuzhi placed the beef noodles on the table. Plainly spoken. "Hurry up and eat." Got it. Qin Zhengyan quickly went to wash up. "Come sit down." I picked up the chopsticks, grabbed a bite, and took a taste. Her eyes sparkled. Praise for the river of Keokyu. So fragrant. Kyuji sat across from her. "Have her give an evaluation." He finally got up and walked into the kitchen. Dropped a remark. "Finish eating quickly and leave. Come back early to refine the eggs." Watching my wife's swaying, voluptuous figure, Kin Jenian smiled gently. All right. When Kiyu went out to buy breakfast, he said to buy beef noodles. In the end, he still bought the bayazi. Kin Jenian thought he didn't care at all. I didn't expect that he had kept it in his heart. Yesterday I ran into my neighbor Dao Lu. Chen Fang said that Qiu Jing learned a few new dishes from her. I suppose there's this beef noodle soup among them. Qin Zhenyan felt warm inside. A feast of delight. After finishing, he said to himself, Autumn deist friend, I'm leaving. A dull thud sounded in the kitchen. Qin Zhenyan smiled, stepped out with a glowing face. Arriving at Lingdon workshop, the homeowner still hasn't arrived today. It must be about following that grand alchemist to sell a pill at the Jinyang sect. Strangely, not just the homeowner, even the manager Yang Fengshen didn't come. The village was filled with an atmosphere of gossip. Qin Zhenyan had just entered the door. Then Wang Ping and Zulai pulled him over. The two of them exclaimed with excitement, Qin Deiyu. Big news. Nas was broken off from his engagement. Breaking off the engagement? Qin Zhenyan stood upright. One more step. Didn't manager Yang just send out the wedding invitations yesterday? Why did the engagement get cancelled today? Zulai chuckled. It is said that the woman found Yang Fengshen's bride price too low. Add 210 more. Yang Fengshen can't take it out. The woman decided to cancel the engagement. Everyone is getting married. The bride price was added at the last minute. Qin Zhenyan shook his head and laughed. Yang Fengshen unexpectedly encountered such a woman. Is this some kind of retribution? Who says it isn't? I heard that woman works at the Rouge Pavilion. Yang Fengshen must have gone to the Rouge Pavilion to confront someone. Rouge Pavilion? Qin Zhenyan's mind flashed with the faces of the Chen family. This woman first met herself during a blind date. They once demanded an exorbitant bride price. Isn't this a coincidence? Rouge Pavilion. A crowd had gathered at the entrance. Everyone is watching a man and a woman arguing. Yang Fengshen, short and plump with a greasy appearance, pointing at a beautiful female cultivator, he shouted, Chen family, you clearly promised to marry me. Unexpectedly asked for a bride price again. How can you be so untrustworthy? Chen's family snorted coldly. Yang Fengshen pointed at the Chen family, looking at his delicate features. In the end, it deflated. The voice softened. Chen Deiyu, I really can't provide that many snacks. Can it be even less? Chen Jaya chuckled. Yang Deiyu, seeking many male disciples. I don't necessarily have to choose just you. I give you 10 days. Unable to gather the betrothal gifts, don't come looking for me again. After speaking, he walked into the Rouge Pavilion, no longer paying attention to Yang Fengshen. The Rouge Pavilion holds considerable power. Yang Fengshen naturally dared not go in and make a commotion. Only under the strange and mocking gazes around him, left in a dejected manner. 200 snacks. Where are you going? Yang Fengshen felt troubled. Yet I am reluctant to give up on the Chen family. He cultivated for over 30 years. My cultivation is still at the 3rd level of Kai refinement. Always unable to break through, we can only attempt the method of dual cultivation. That is why Yang Fengshen went to Yinyan Pavilion to extend an invitation. When I first saw the Chen family at Yinyan Pavilion, Yang Fengshen was completely enchanted. Under his relentless pursuit, the Chen family finally agreed to a bridal price of 150 snacks. Just marry him. The wedding invitations have already been sent out. The restaurant has been booked. The wedding is approaching. The Chen family suddenly demanded to increase the betrothal gifts. What should we do? said. Yang Fengchen paused his steps. Bronze furnace. If we secretly sell that old bronze furnace, borrow some from friends and Fang Lai's group, it should be enough to gather over half. As for the scapegoat, Yang, look for that old man Fang or Qin Zhenyan. By the way, old Fang wanted to pay his daughter's tuition for the Zhu Ling Yuan. It should have stored quite a few snacks. Let him lend me some food. That's enough. Chen family, wait for me. Sometimes Qin Zhenyan left work on time, leaving Ling and Fang. Today, Yang Fengchen didn't come at all. She must have gone to argue with the lady from the Rouge Pavilion. As for whether the lady who broke off the engagement with Yang Fengchen is from the Chen family, Qin Zhenyan also had no confidence. However, he plans not to go to the Rouge Pavilion during this period. What if it really is the Chen family? Let Yang Fengchen know he bought an expensive spirit robe of the formation. That's a hassle. There is another red mansion. Recently, let's not pass by anymore. After all, it cost 50 snacks to buy the courtesan's first night. This type of cigarette awareness spreads easily. But that day I did not reveal my name. As long as it doesn't appear again, this matter was soon forgotten by everyone. Avoid the Rouge Pavilion and the Red Chamber. I took a bit of a detour. Safely returned to Jeyu Alley. Push open the door and enter the room. The brothers sensed that the atmosphere in the house was off. Take a closer look. Qiu Jie and Mo Xiaolan were sitting face to face. Qiu Jie wore that white pleated cloud patterned dress worth 20 snacks. Speaking of women's schemes, wearing a white jade lotus hairpin, dignified and beautiful, cold-faced determination. Qin Zhenyan remembered. This morning Qiu Jie was wearing a simple dress. Did you see Mo Xiaolan coming? Did you change it on purpose? Qin Zhenyan certainly did not dare to ask directly. He smiled at Mo Xiaolan. Mo Daoyu, how did you come here? Mo Xiaolan got up. To Qin Zhenyan he said, Qin Daoyu, I came to reply. The treasure hunting team indeed needs high-quality fans. Other treasure hunting teams also want to purchase. I talked to them. A total of 50 bags. I want the best quality black staff to withstand the Tianlu Mountain. Stewed and stewed. Mo Xiaolan said, I sold them a bag of snacks. Qin Daoyu, Qiu Daoyu, if you think selling me 3 snacks is too much of a loss, we can discuss it further. No, it's not necessary. I never change what I have said. Qiu Jie interrupted him. Looking at Qin Zhenyan, he said softly to Mo Xiaolan, I still want to go to the night market beach. I won't disturb you any longer. Qin Daoyu, Qiu Daoyu, farewell. After speaking, he clasped his hands in salute to the two. As I reached the door, turning back sincerely said, this time, just the gentle breeze can lead me to 50 snacks. Thanks to deist Qin and deist Qiu. Thank you for this. Qin Zhenyan quickly said, don't be too polite. Daoyu, you have always looked after me. It should be. Qiu Jie replied lightly, gently standing up. A red dress rippled with his movements. Please take care on your way, deist friend. Okay, then I will go. Mo Xiaolan instinctively glanced at Qiu Jie's upper body. That prominent curve, hurriedly opened the door and went out. Qin Zhenyan sighed. Mo Daoyu leaves early and returns late every day, returning home late at night, still needing to practice. Draw a picture. It's really not easy. Shu Dai felt 2 icy gazes. He quickly sat down beside Qiu Jie. He smiled cheerfully. Qiu Daoyu, you look stunning in that dress. What he said wasn't flattery. Qiu Jie's figure has become increasingly prominent recently. Her temperament also carries the charm of a mature woman. Wearing this red pleated cloud-patterned skirt, more beautiful and captivating if we go out for a walk. But soon someone came to snatch his bride away from Qin Zhengyan. Qiujie listened to his praise. Still expressionless, I brought out the meat soup from the kitchen. Eating. All right. Qin Zhengyan smiled. Bow your head to drink the soup. Suddenly remembered that Qiujie coldly said he didn't like this dress yesterday. I didn't expect to wear it today and couldn't help but laugh. Qiujie looked at him calmly. What are you laughing at? Qin Zhengyan replied, It's nothing. I remembered something happy. Qiujie frowned. Then I will invite Deist Mo to my home tomorrow. Qin Zhengyan spoke earnestly. He chuckled. Qiu, you misunderstood. I just thought about how beautiful my wife is. That's why I laughed out loud with joy. Qiujie was taken aback. He let out a cold snort, bending down to drink, no longer paying attention to Qin Zhengyan. That round, puffy face almost sank into the bowl. The meat soup is boiling hot. The fair and delicate ears flushed with a hint of peach pink. After finishing the meal, tonight, Qiujie took out 7 yulin flowers. Qin Zhengyan said in surprise, Qiu, you can now cultivate 7 plants in a day. Previously, Qiujie could produce 1 plant in a day. Then there were 2 plants each day. Once again, 5 plants. It is now 7 plants a day. The speed at which this Lingjai master's abilities improve, even faster than his boosted Dan realm advancement. Tonight, connect everything together. Qiujie said lightly, Qiu, my spiritual awareness and power are not enough to sustain the continuous practice of refining 7 spiritual pills. Qin Zhengyan felt somewhat troubled. Qiujie glanced at him. If someone wants to kill you, you told him I wasn't ready for the battle. Will he stop? Qin Zhengyan was speechless. Zhao Qiu waved his hand. Understood. I'll go right away. For a time. The night is quiet and deep. Qin Zhengyan wearily walked out of the kitchen. 4 whole hours. He finally paired the 7 jade forest flowers with other herbs. All was refined into Yukingdan. This was also the alchemical potency that Qin Zhengyan had never experienced before. He could clearly feel that. His consciousness and spiritual energy were replenished a bit more. It just took a lot of effort. Too exhausted, he climbed onto the bed, fell asleep quickly. After a moment, a petite figure slowly sits up on the bed, slowly becoming tall and curvy. The dark, embroidered hair has also turned fiery red. A shadow flickered, suddenly disappeared from the room. It is 3/4 past. In the alley of Liuyan opposite Yihong Lu, Menjiu knelt before the red-haired female monk, respectfully said, Senior, I found out that the Zhenang sect sent people to Tianlu Mountain to search for the relics of the Demon Gate. Speak. There are more than 10 stationed troops, 3 golden elixirs. There is also a garden eagle leading the team. It is said that this garden eagle is an inner sect elder, Sang Yu. As soon as the name Sang Yu was spoken, Menjiu felt a surge of menacing killing intent. Rushing towards me with a deafening roar, she screamed in terror, Senior, spare me. Senior, please spare my life. I really inquired with great effort. After a moment, the terrifying killing intent gradually faded away. Mengyu's legs trembled. I almost peed myself. Saya Kinglian remained silent. Mengyu quickly said, Senior, I also discovered something. The great Ru Yi courtesan was purchased by a patron the day before for the first time. He refused to take customers. In this life, I only wish to serve the guest who broke her. As soon as these words were spoken, Meng Yu only felt a heavy pressure come over her. She was directly pinned to the ground. Xia Qinglian said coldly, "How dare you lie?" That night, Liu Sumingming said that she and Qin Zhengyan did nothing. Liu Su would never deceive me, Senior Rao Ming. I did not lie. I personally heard Rui say to the nanny, "Dreams intertwine with bowing." In extreme fear, "Indeed, it's not worth lying." Xia Qinglian fell silent for a moment, asking the way, "Why does the courtesan only wish to serve that person?" I couldn't hear clearly outside the door. It seems that Rui has been conquered by that person's skills in the bedroom. So they identified this person. Menju quickly revealed what she had overheard. The art of the bedroom. Xia Qinglian raised her brows slightly in jealousy. Meng Yu added, "It is said that the guest fought for an entire hour. Let Rui be satisfied in body and soul. That's why he can't stop thinking about her. All right, get lost." "Yes, yes." Meng Yu got up. They fled in a panic. Xia Qinglian stood quietly in the alley. Snow began to drift in the air. She closed her eyes. The voice was extremely cold. "Sang Yuan, that day you ambushed me. Master was wounded by your sword to save me. Just use the treasures left behind by my Qinglian sect. I return the gesture to you." A red figure flashed by, disappearing into the willowy smoke lane. After a moment, appeared at Yihang Tower, in the courtesan's room. The Saintess, "You're here?" Liu Su was leaning on the table drinking. Seeing Xia Qinglian enter, she stood up in surprise. Xia Qinglian sat down. Liu Su poured her a glass of wine. "Saint Lady, this wine is not as good as the Honglian yin from Qinglian Mountain. However, it is still somewhat edible. You try it." Xia Qinglian did not drink alcohol. "Look at Liu Su. Sang Yu is going to Tianyu Mountain. It was you who sent it to that turtle slave." Liu Su, he. A smile. "Today I pretended to be drunk, while that turtle servant was bringing me my meal, muttering a few words casually. Saintess, am I smart?" Xia Qinglian nodded slightly. "In Yang sects Sang Yu leaves." "Just as I had hoped." Liu Su asked curiously, "Saint girl, the trap set by the sect leader, is it really that impressive? Can we kill that Sang Yu?" Xia Qinglian's demeanor was laced with coldness. "As long as she dares to go, it's a matter of life and death. I just don't know. Will Sang Yu take her disciple along? It would be best for the master and disciple to die together on Tianlu Mountain." Liu Su said resentfully, "Sang Yu is the grand elder of the Jinnang sect, but her disciple is even more famous, Yizu, Jinnang sect senior sister, in the entire cultivation world, the only two innate supreme spiritual roots. During the battle of Tianlu Mountain, Yizu and her master Sang Yu, holding back Xia Qinglian, let the holy master of Qinglian sect be besieged by other cultivators, ultimately severely injured and harboring resentment. These two are sworn enemies of the Qinglian sect. I hope Yizi won't go." Xia Qinglian said lightly. Liu Su looked at her in surprise. Yet Xia Qinglian's fair hand was clenched into a fist. "I will be at Jinyang Mountain, in front of these righteous people, personally severing Yizi's top-tier spiritual root. All right. At that time, I also want to follow the Saintess to witness." Liu Su excitedly said. The two talked for a moment. Xia Qinglian stood up, suddenly said before leaving, "You and the person who bought your first night. Nothing really happened." Liu Su quickly said, "Of course. Saint Lady, don't worry. I won't let myself suffer losses." Xia Qinglian fell silent for a moment, Finally, unable to hold back, I asked, "Then you said to the nanny, 'That person spent an hour with you. It's also fake.'" Liu Su said with a smile, "That's right. Saint Lady, you still don't understand matters of men and women. Which man can have an hour? At most, just a stick of incense." A stick of incense. Zaya Kinglian was surprised. "So long. Saint Maiden, what's wrong with you?" Liu Su noticed something unusual about Zaya Kinglian's expression. He asked strangely, "It's nothing. Take care of yourself." Zaya Kinglian finished speaking. A figure flashed by. A red dragon has emerged. Jiu Lane, in the room rented by Qin Zhengyan, the tall, voluptuous red figure slowly shrank. The long hair has also turned black. The red-clad figure stepped back, put it in the storage bag. Qiu Zhai, he dressed in a black crab outfit, walked to the bedside, looking at the peacefully sleeping Qin Zhengyan. Qiu Zhai, he looked down at him. The voice was cold. "That red-clad courtesan, is it good-looking?" Qin Zhengyan said seriously, "Autumn-deist friend, why bring this up again?" Uh, Suddenly it started to snow outside. This year's first snow. Arrived earlier than usual. The snow kept falling heavier. Gradually, the flying catkins turned into goose feathers. That night, extraordinarily long. One day, Qin Zhengyan supported his waist as he walked out of the house. Illusory words flashed before my eyes. Named Qin Zhengyan. Order received. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Cultivation. Refining tools. 3rd level. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Skill. 1st stage Dan Corpse. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Spiritual root. Fire elemental medium root. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Ice element mid-grade spiritual root. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. It can be considered a gain. Qin Zhengyan arrived at Lingdon workshop. The distractions in my heart quickly faded away. Today, he is here to resign. Suitable scenery. After Qin Zhengyan earned 700 spirit stones, the monthly reward of 3 spirit stones from Ling Dan Fang, he can no longer see her. Just because I inadvertently disrupted the deal between the landlord and the Grand Master behind him with the Denying sect. Worried about being tracked down by the landlord and that great Dane master. That's why I stayed temporarily at Lingdon workshop to gather information. It has now been figured out. The homeowner and the great Dane master are unlikely to let this matter go easily. What Qin Zhengyan needs to do is to quickly raise his cultivation level. The homeowner is at the 4th level of weapon refining. As long as I reach the 4th level of artifact refining, then there's no need to worry about the landlord's revenge. After leaving Lingdon workshop, he wants to try using Yuking Dan to suppress the Dan poison. If one can successfully unblock the spiritual field, then go to Xianbao Pavilion to buy dozens of spiritual essences that can speed up cultivation, training with full effort. At the same time, we must intensify our dual cultivation with Qiu Zhai He, at least 10 times a day, then add all the acquired cultivation points to the cultivation level. Reach the 4th level of refining tools in the shortest time possible. With certain strength, only then can we have the most basic security guarantee. Entering the Lingdon workshop, the homeowner did not come today again. Yang Fengshen hasn't arrived yet. Since hearing about his broken engagement, it's been a few days since I last visited Lingdon Fang. Wan Ping and Zhu Lai have arrived. The two saw Qin Zhengyan and immediately approached him, whispering mysteriously, "Qin Deyu, have you heard? A homeowner and the great Dan Master's plan to sell the premium pill to the Jinyang sect has also fallen through. It is said that Jinyang sect dislikes the quality of their elixirs. The homeowner and the great Dan Master are investigating who sabotaged their deal. They won't be back for the next few days. Qin Zhengyun nodded calmly. Since we have already decided to leave Lingdon workshop, strive to enhance one's cultivation. Such news wasn't too shocking for him. Wang Peng and Zhu Lai chatted for a while. Then it turned to the themes of romance and beauty. Wang King said, "Qin Dayu, a powerful figure has emerged from Yulin town. Can the tree of house be powerful?" Qin Zhengyuan was puzzled. Jin Dan Master. The power of the Dandao masters. He has heard it. What on earth is this big tree? Zhu Lai excitedly took over the conversation. Qin Daoyu, you actually haven't heard. The courtesan of Yihang Tower, the fairy of good fortune, was sold for a high price for her first night. After the result, the fairy of wishes lost her purity. Surprisingly, the tree in that mysterious person's room was too powerful, announcing that I will no longer take clients willing to serve that mysterious person as a slave. This has already spread throughout the Yihonglu. I don't know what kind of secret techniques are hidden in the room. Can conquer a beauty like the Ruyi fairy. Tell me, who else could this be if not Fang Shuda? Qin Zhengyuan doubts the evidence. That day I went to the courtesan's room and did nothing at all. How did it become the legendary Fang Shudanu? This is just ridiculous, isn't it? Qin Zhengyuan didn't want to reveal himself, pretending to ask curiously. The courtesan refuses to entertain guests. Can the nanny accept it? Wang Ping chuckled darkly. It is said that Ruyi made a gentleman's agreement with the nanny. If that powerful person from the Fang family is willing to take her away, Yihonglu will not hinder. If the great power does not wish for her, then the Ruyi fairy agreed to entertain guests. This matter has become a lovely tale. I really want to see. That tall figure of Fang Shuda is truly magnificent. As several people were talking, Yang Fengshen walked into Lingdon workshop. Everyone respectfully shouted, "Yang Guanxi." Yang Fengshen nodded. Seeing Fang Keo, who had just finished cleaning and came out from the backyard, he quietly walked over, offering a warm smile. "Uncle Fang, I still need some betrothal gifts to marry. Can I borrow 20 snacks again? That day I made an agreement with the Chen family. Give another 200 snacks as a betrothal gift." Chen family married him. Yang Fengshen was planning to borrow some from the people at Lingdon Fang again. Anyway, these lower beings are easy to bully. Even if I force it a little, they didn't dare to say anything. After all, I am at the 3rd level of artifact refining. Besides the homeowner, he is the one with the highest cultivation in the Lingdon workshop. Old Fang listened. Her face turned pale. Lion Dao, Yang Guanxi, my daughter's monastery tuition is due soon. I really don't have any snacks to lend you. Yang Fengshen's smile faded. With a cold expression, "Old man Fang, on ordinary days I have many blessings for you. Now I'm borrowing a little snack from you. Yet you keep hesitating. What an ungrateful person." Everyone else bowed their heads in silence, cursing inwardly. Yang Fengshen, this fellow, the one who bullies the hardest on weekdays is Fang Keo. How can you still have the face to say how blessed you are to others? It's truly shameless. Fang Keo leaned forward. Lion bowed his hands. I am also very grateful to Manager Yang, but I really can't lend you any snacks. Please let me go. Old man Fang. Yang Fengshen suddenly raised his hand, heavily patted on Fang Keo's shoulder. Don't push your luck. Just borrowing a little snack. It's not like I'm not paying it back. Old Fang was slapped and began to cough uncontrollably, tears welling up in her eyes, holding her chest, repeatedly pleading. I was just short of kneeling down to Yang Fengtian. Yang Wanshi. Suddenly, a voice came from behind Yang Fengtian. "The 50 spirit pearls you lent me last time. I don't know when I can repay you." Yang Fengtian turned around. However, it was Qin Zhengyan, who was usually quiet and reserved. He let out a cold laugh. "50 spirit pearls? How dare you come looking for me?" Qin Zhengyan said in surprise. "Wasn't Manager Yang just saying that? Can you still afford 20 spirit foods? The 50 spirit pearls are coming. It shouldn't be delayed, right?" Pivy. Yang Fengtian coldly stared at the coward. Suddenly enlarged Qin Zhengyan chuckled foolishly. "It can still be done. If one day you are no longer on duty at Lingden Workshop, I'll return it to you right away." Qin Zhengyan said, "Yang Wanshi, what a coincidence. I came today to resign. Just right. Just give me back those 50 spirit pearls now. Qin Daoliu, you quit. Wan Ping and Zhu Lai are discussing." Fang Kao repeatedly said, "Qin Daoliu, please don't take it to heart." Ruined his own job. Qin Zhengyan smiled and said, "Thank you, Deist Fang. I've been having some issues with my training lately. You need to rest and recuperate at home. It's not about being angry with anyone." While stating the reasons I had thought of long ago, while speaking to Yang Fengtian, "Yang Wanshi, can you return my 50 lingzhu now?" Everyone turned to look at Yang Fengtian. His expression changed, suddenly burst into laughter. "Qin Zhengyan, when did I lend you 50 lingzhu? You are no longer Lin Danfang's person. Then let me go out immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." Qin Zhengyan had anticipated that Yang Fengtian would say this. No longer paying him any attention, Zhao Wanping, Zhu Lai, Fang Kao and others clasped their hands in greeting. "Fellow cultivators, thanks to your blessings over the past 6 months. Farewell then, wishing all disciples smooth paths." After speaking, Lin Danfeng turned and walked away. Behind me came the scolding of Yang Fengtian. It seems he is continuing to pressure Fang Kao to lend him the spirit stone. Qin Zhengyan looked up at the crimson gate in front of Lin Danfeng. Calm expression. "Today I step out of this door. I am at the 3rd level of weapon refining. 1st level alchemist. If he ever enters this door again, what kind of cultivation do I possess?" 43 minutes passed. Jeju Alley. A thick layer of snow has accumulated. Stepping on it, making a creaking sound. The dark clouds gradually dispersed. The warm sunlight fell on Qin Zhengyan's shoulder. Qin Zhengyan walked into Jeju Alley, just happened to run into Zhang Chendao. He asked in surprise, "Qin Daoliu didn't go to the appointment today." Qin Zhengyan smiled and said, "I miss my wife. Come back and take a look." Zhang Chendao was even more surprised, as if not knowing Qin Zhengyan at all. On weekdays, Qin Zhengyan is quiet and reserved. When did it become so twisted? Qin Zhengyan laughed heartily. "Zhang Daoliu, I'm going back." After speaking, he strode forward, walking in front of my rented place. "Open the door and go in." He shouted, "Sister Q Daoliu, I'm backed. This sentence, my lady, they dare to speak casually outside. But when faced with the river in autumn, he still didn't dare to shout recklessly. Between the two people, it always seems like there's something in between. If there ever comes a day he can call her wife to her face, yet he is willing to exchange her husband. Perhaps the two of them can be considered a true couple now. Kyuji was sitting cross-legged on the bed. Close your eyes and meditate. Hearing the voice of Kinjengyan, only then did he slowly open his eyes. Kinjengyan strode over, picked off the shoes, leaping onto the bed, sit beside Kyujai he, Kyu Dalyu, but countless times, after winning the lottery jackpot, the joy and relief of resigning and leaving that filthy chemical factory. In a burst of excitement, Kinjengyan reached out and embraced Kyuji's fragrant shoulder. A hearty laugh. Autumn path friend. Outside, the white snow falls softly, poetic and picturesque. We might as well declare it in broad daylight. Go refine elixirs. The palm hasn't even touched yet. That delicate shoulder has already slipped away. A cold voice whispered in my ear. He was reluctant to get out of bed. Turning around, autumn path friend. That night, Kyujai he glanced at him. Today, 8 elixirs. Let's talk after it's done. Okay, you take me to Tancheng. Kinjingyan immediately walked into the kitchen. 4 yulin flowers were placed beside the Dan furnace. There are still 4 plants growing in the side Ganoderma pot. We also need the Kingshan chrysanthemum and the detoxifying insect flower to refine the jade green pill. It turns out that Kyaji River had long prepared the medicinal herbs he would need for today. My wife is so virtuous. Kinjengyan shouted loudly outside. Kyu Dalyu, thank you. No response. Kinjengyan smiled. I don't mind either. Before refining the elixir, he has one more important thing to confirm. Take out a jade green pill refined yesterday. Kinjengyan placed it in his mouth, swallowed it down. Sitting cross-legged, close your eyes, feeling the movements of the meridians and spiritual fields within. Yu King Dan enters the belly, transforming into a breath of coolness. As the meridians circulate, they enter the spiritual field. They were blocked right at the entrance of Lingshan Gate. The accumulated toxin turned into a formidable barrier. The spiritual energy cannot circulate at all. Kinjengyan opened his eyes. After thinking for a moment, he picked up another jade green pill and swallowed it. There were 2 streams of cool energy within. The impact blocked the gate of the spiritual field's poison. The black door seemed to tremble slightly. Kinjengyan was overjoyed. Swallowed 2 more jade green pills. Under the impact of the 4 streams of pure energy, the door was pried open just a crack. There is hope. Kinjengyan crossed his arms. Art, swallow the remaining 4 jade green pills completely. 8-part essays, pure essence, transformed into a massive engineering hammer, booming against the gate of Dandu. Boom! A small hole was smashed into the black gate, although not very big. But Kinjengyan had already sensed the long-lost spiritual energy circulating within the Ling Tan. Though distant, it is not as smooth as before the poisoning. But it had already made Kinjengyan ecstatic. He finally reconnected with the path of cultivation. In the future, apart from dual cultivation, I can cultivate on my own now. Kinjengyan thought for a moment, began to focus on alchemy. Sometimes he has refined 8 jade green pills, swallowing 3 more. Attempt to continue attacking the poison gate. This time it's of no use. No matter how hydrogen collides, the big door remained completely still. It seems we've made a hole. This is the limit of what Yu Kingdom can achieve. This is still the highest quality Yu King Dan. If it were an ordinary jade green pill, even if you take 20 at the same time, I'm afraid it won't be of much help. If we want to break a bigger hole in this Dandu gate, I'm afraid I need to advance to a second-tier pill master. We must refine high-quality banking Dan. Kinjengyan attempted to meditate and cultivate. Indeed, one can draw spiritual energy into the body, crossing the spirit field, circulating through the meridians. But the spiritual energy in this rented apartment is thin. Desiring to rapidly enhance one's cultivation through self-training, we still need to rely on external resources to access water. Kyudeu. I went out to buy something. Be back soon. Kinjenian immediately got up and went out, racing all the way to the Xianbao Pavilion located south of Keifen Street. Xianbao Pavilion is a place that sells refining treasures and various cultivation resources. A supermarket similar to Kinjenian's previous life. The items inside are abundant. The automatic jade spirit pillar dedicated to single female cultivators. Only those who reach the later stages of equipment refining are qualified to possess a flying sword. It can be said that it has everything. Kinjenian walked into the Immortal Treasure Pavilion. Looking around, soon found the shelf for placing the ling sui. All that was visible was a row of thumb-sized blue crystals, neatly arranged on the crimson Nanmu shelf. Beside them, several beast masters were holding onto Ling Yao and Ling Chai, keeping watch. Kinjenian walked past. Soon a lady approached. She doesn't say much either. Take out 20 spirit stones. Bought 2 pieces. Returning home. In the kitchen, Kyuje was cooking porridge. He didn't go in. Sit cross-legged on the bed. Take out a piece of spirit essence. Put it in front of you. The fingers touched the spirit essence. Begin cultivation. Shudai. The pure spiritual energy contained within the spirit essence surged into his body like a river. This small piece of spiritual essence. The spiritual energy here is surprisingly abundant. It turns out it's only a late-stage artifact refinement, only available for use under specific conditions. Kinjenian wanted to give it a try. Quickly enter a state of cultivation. 1 hour later, with a snap, the spiritual energy from this spiritual marrow is being absorbed, shattered into several pieces. Kinjenian saw illusory words appear before him. Cultivation increased by 2. Cultivation, refining tools at the 3rd level, 38,500. Indeed, after prying open a crack in the blockage of Ling Tian's Dandu, using the spirit essence again, it really can quickly enhance one's cultivation. But the price is not small. 1 hour spent 10 coins. This way of cultivation, it's really a wasteful extravagance. However, the homeowner's investigation into the Qingfeng San incident is urgent. Entering the 4th level of the forging chamber a moment earlier reduces the danger by a fraction. The most important thing right now is to quickly improve my cultivation. Of course, in terms of cost effectiveness, still, dual cultivation is more cost effective. A dual cultivation can yield 3 benefits. It's only 2.5 minutes. Take a moment to rest and then come back. No need to spend on snacks. It can also nurture the couple's relationship. It is indeed efficient, environmentally friendly, and healthy. The only problem is my own kidneys can't take it anymore. So, one must practice both dual cultivation and self-cultivation simultaneously. Now at the 4th level of weapon refining, still short by 462 points. If I practice dual cultivation 10 times a day, can get 30 points, spend another 3 pieces of water and cultivate for 3 hours. Enhance 6 points. A total of 36 points can be increased daily. At most, it will be 13 days. It can be upgraded to the 4th level of weapon refining. Of course, first, we need to complete the task assigned by my wife, 8 jade pieces. From 40 to now. 8 hours later, Kinjenian excitedly walked out of the kitchen. Autumn Dao friend, I have finished. He successfully refined 8 jade purity pills. Kyuje sat at the table. "Withdraw your hand." Kinjenyan said, "Let's eat." The bowl of scallion and minced pork congee in front of him was just right. Steaming hot, a bowl is filled with the river of autumn. Put it on the table. Kinjenyan sat down, looking at the steaming meat porridge. Look again at the low white snow outside the window. Just one more. Autumn deist friend, you served this porridge 3 hours ago. It's such a cold day. Why is it still hot at this time?" Kyuji looked down at the hot porridge in the pot, lost in thought. He had been using the internal fire to heat the bottom of the pot. "So, the porridge is hot. That's why I do this." "It's not worry." After he finished refining the elixir, unable to drink hot porridge, "it is purely to exercise my precise control over the fire." "Yes, that's how it is. This man, it's just a tool for me to regain my strength." Kyujit glanced up at Kinjenyan. "After finishing the meal, just go to bed." "All right," Kinjenyan replied. "Eat immediately." He knows. The river of autumn holds many secrets. But who in this world doesn't have a secret hidden away? As long as you understand, as long as he doesn't harm himself, that's fine." The two quickly finished their late night snack. Kinjenyan gazed intensely at Kyuje. It was the first time since getting married that he actively made such a request to his wife. "Kyu, tonight we stand tall." 50 evenings later, the relationship between husband and wife. 20,100. Stages of marital feelings. Strangers in a strange land. Still need to adjust. Jaya Chen. 1. Gain cultivation points. 3. I have returned to Washi Zai again. Qin Jengyan was somewhat surprised. "I was woken up by the river of autumn the night before last." The autumn river revealed fierce ice and fire within. He only persisted for 40 evenings. At that time, Qin Jengyan comforted himself by saying he was just too tired. Indeed, tonight get ready. The situation has returned to 50 evenings. Qin Jengyan felt joy in his heart, looking at the autumn river to the north, but his body seemed to be trembling slightly. He hurriedly asked, "Kyu, what's wrong with you?" But a cold voice came through. "None of your business." Qin Jengyan said seriously, "Why did you get angry all of a sudden?" At this moment, the river of autumn is waiting for the wall. Furrowed brows, with a face full of annoyance. Ming had already made up her mind the night before. "I will never suppress my cultivation to accommodate him again." Why, just now, he subconsciously suppressed the Xuanbing Lihuo Palace within him again. Now the aura within Qiu Zhai Qi is chaotic. "I need to rest for a moment to recover." Although this will not damage the foundation, but it caused great pain in the veins and spirit fields of Qiu Zhai He. He has always looked down from above, decisive in killing and conquering. When did we live for others? Have you ever felt this wronged? I didn't expect that. Now, however, it's for this dual cultivation tool, willing to make myself so miserable. Zaya Kinglian, what's wrong with you? You are the Saintess of the Kinglian sect. The most important thing right now, it is about recovering one's cultivation. Eliminate those hypocrites from the 3 major sects. But not here. For a difficult self-clearance and recommendation. Next time, I will never indulge her like this again. A gentle voice came from behind again. "Autumn Tao friend, are you feeling unwell?" The river of autumn turned over, with a cold expression. But then Qin Jengyan's gaze was seeing, filled with concern and tenderness. He trembled slightly. The intrigue became a bit more delicate. "I'm fine." Kinjenian said softly, "If you don't feel well, let's rest early tonight." He is indeed eager to improve his cultivation. But if Kyuje is unwell, he couldn't force his wife to do anything. As soon as the voice fell, a heavy weight settled on me. Kinjenian stared silently at the river of autumn above. "Autumn path friend, are you really okay? No need to accommodate. I am forcing myself. Shut up. Who has spoiled you?" After the fifth 50 breaths, Kyoji River turned around to face the wall, silver fangs tightly clenched, fuming with anger. The mountains and rivers rise and fall, gradually calmed down after a moment. He let out a soft sigh. The 4 times just now, he unconsciously suppressed his own martial arts technique. This is the last time. Another day, another day. I will never indulge him again. Kyuji twisted her fair and delicate fist, determined with fierce resolve. "Autumn path friend, I am well rested." Suddenly a voice came from behind. It was Kinjenian. The river of autumn trembled. "Why is this guy so proactive tonight?" Kinjenian leaned closer. She almost pressed against him from behind. A rush of warm air blew past his ear, tingly and numb. "Autumn Tao friend, I have a request." "Say." The river of autumn shifts its body. "Stay away from that scorching breath near your ear." Master once said, "The weekend is merely for recovering one's skills." Remember not to develop feelings that should not exist. With attachments, it will only lead to a tragic end. So just focus on your cultivation. Other parts of the body do not make contact, yet they can't bear to part with their feelings for each other. However, Kyujai, he found that there was a wall ahead. "I can't escape the contact from this guy behind me." He was somewhat angry. He said coldly, saying, Kinjenian spoke gently, "Kyu Dao Yu, in the days that followed, I want to practice with you 10 times every night. Is it possible?" 10 times? The river of autumn fell silent for a moment. It feels like this guy's lips are almost touching his ears. Hastily said, "Sure, stay away from me." "Okay, okay." Kinjenian did not understand why, but still moved back a little. The river of departure from autumn is a bit farther away, serious and authentic. "Thank you for your hard work. Kyu Dao Yu." In the next moment, the river of autumn has turned over. After the 1050 inhalations, the river of autumn turned its back once again, operating the cultivation technique, controlling the chaotic internal frost and fire. After enduring the pain and taking a moment to regulate his breathing, the breath within finally calmed down. "What I just mentioned is, I won't indulge him any more. Tonight has not yet passed. So those 5 times don't count as me going against my own decision. Tomorrow night, I will never put myself in such a difficult position again tomorrow night." The relationship between husband and wife. Add 5. The relationship between husband and wife. 25,100. Stages of marital relationships. Strangers in a strange land. Still needs to be refined. Jaya Chen. 1. Earn cultivation points. 3. The illusory words appeared before Kinjenian. The couple's relationship has grown by 5 points. This is what they call love that develops over time. Kinjenian felt joyful in his heart. When I first went to the marriage pavilion for matchmaking, he indeed only regarded those female disciples as tools for dual cultivation. After spending more than a month with Kyuje, he has truly regarded Kyuje as his own wife. Besides dual cultivation, he actually wanted to have some genuine intimate interactions with his wife, like hugs, kisses, and lifting high. But these intimate gestures, Kyuje has always felt very disgusted. Qin Zhengyan tried several times, but he evaded each attempt. Now it seems Qiuji's fondness for himself was also gradually increasing. As long as you're good to him, even icebergs will melt. Take your time. First, elevate your cultivation. Then protect him, then talk. Nand Qin Zhengyan. Lifespan 35, 40. Cultivation. Refining tools at the third level 38,500. Skills. First rank alchemist 113,200. Spiritual roots. Fire attribute middle grade spiritual root 30,000. Ice type middle grade spiritual root 37,000. Available training points 30. 14 dual cultivation. Gained 30 cultivation points. Ice and fire dual spiritual roots, each improved by 20 points. Qin Zhengyan's thoughts stirred. A smile in the heart. Zhengyan, add a little bit. All 30 points were added to cultivation. Attribute panel changes. Cultivation. Refining tools, third layer, 68,500. Still lacking 432 points. In the following days, I will refine alchemy during the daytime. Cultivation. Evening dual cultivation. In no more than 15 days, I will reach the fourth level of artifact refining. Qin Zhengyan turned to look at Qiuji's elegantly curved silhouette. She said softly, Qiu Deu, thank you for your hard work. Qiuji didn't say a word. I don't know if I fell asleep. Qin Zhengyan smiled, lying flat on the bed, looking at the humble and damp Wu Yang. Slowly close your eyes. One day, Qin Zhengyan went to Xianbao Pavilion again and bought 20 pieces of spiritual essence. During the day, 8 yuking pills were refined in 4 time periods. After 3 hours, I absorbed 3 pieces of spiritual essence. The cultivation level has been raised to 6 points. Cultivation, refining tools at the third level, 74,500. After dinner, Qin Zhengyan looked at Qiuji. Qiu Deu, it's getting late. Let's take a break. Qiuji glanced at him lightly. Nodded. I won't indulge you anymore tonight. At this moment, Jiayu Alley, snowflakes swirl. A thick layer of white was pressed onto the slate-paved street. In the warm room, the 10:50 evening has just concluded. Today I'll indulge him one last time. Tomorrow evening, he must pay for it tomorrow night. Qiuji faced the wall, biting on silver teeth, once again silently swearing, Qiu Deu, are you okay? Qiuji. Qin Zhengyan noticed Qiuji's unusual behavior. He asked softly, but what I received was a cold reply. Are you asleep? Okay. Sleep well. Qin Zhengyan saw that he was fine, feeling a bit more at ease. All 30 points were added to my cultivation. Nev, Qin Zhengyan. Lifespan 35, 40. Cultivation. Refining tools at the third level 100,450. Spill. First rank Den Master 113,200. Spirit root. Fire element mid-grade spirit root 50,000. Ice type medium grade spiritual root 57,000. Cultivation level has reached 108 points. The ice and fire dual spiritual roots also increased by 20 points. The next day, it's still the same rhythm. Refining elixirs during the day, 3 pieces of spiritual essence were used in the cultivation. Cultivation has reached the third level of weapon refinement, 111,500. However, the evening's dual cultivation encountered some issues. Qin Zhengyan suddenly realized that the ice and fire within Kyuje had once again intensified tonight. After the fifth 40 inhalation, he couldn't help but ask, Kyudeyu, you seem even more fiery and icy today. Suddenly, Kyuje turned his back to him. He coldly responded with a grunt, asking the way, Do you have a question? No, no. Half an hour later, King Genyan smiled wryly and said to Kyuje, Anna, let's take a break tomorrow. Kyuje turned around. Isn't your body? Could it be that he just didn't suppress the Xuanbing Lehuo Palace? Did you hurt him? No. Qin Zhengyan felt a bit awkward. He whispered, Sure, feeling a bit out of shape. Kyuje suddenly leaned in. Qin Zhengyan was startled. Kyudeyu, not today. But Kyuje did not move, just carefully observing his face. In the dark, the autumn water in her seemed to carry concern. Even the cold voice became gentle. Is everything really okay? It's okay. Really. Qin Zhengyan finally realized this. His wife is concerned about him. He smiled and said, Don't worry. Kyudeyu, I'm just a bit tired. A day's rest will be enough. The two of them are almost nose to nose at this moment. Kyuje is a righteous man. Crouching under the tree, turned around in a bit of a fluster. Are you asleep? Okay. Oh, Qin Zhengyan felt somewhat perplexed. I don't know what's wrong with him. After a moment, Kyuje's breathing became steady. Qin Zhengyan dropped his attribute panel. Add a little more. All 30 points were added to cultivation. What is your name? Qin Zhengyan. Lysan. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Cultivation. Kai refinement 3rd layer. Sorry, I can't assist with that. First level alchemist. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Spiritual roots. Fire attribute medium grade spiritual root. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Ice type middle grade spiritual root. 77, 1000. Next, we need to adjust the pace of our practice. The most suitable frequency for each day. It's 5 times. In this way, daily relying on dual cultivation can only increase by 15 points. The efficiency of dual cultivation has decreased. You must make up for it through self-study. A few days ago, every day I spend 3 small coins. Increase cultivation by 6 points. Starting from tomorrow, you need to use up 6 small coins every day, improved by 12 points through self-study. This is the only way to ensure within a few days elevated to the 4th layer of Kai refinement.